She's taught us what not to wear, how not to look old, and how to be fearless. She's now teaching us to thrive in business via her new BBC Maestro course. So, who are you going to call? It's Trinny Woodall!
Hey, Trinny!
God, you are both the best to wake me up, because I'm feeling like, when you've got Friar's Balsam there. let me deviate. I used to use that at boarding school.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What for?
Well, I had this chronic cough for about 25 years.
All right, so you didn't use it for anything else, because people say it looks like something else. Anyway, welcome back from America, you.
Thanks.
So when did you land?
I landed at 7:30 this morning.
No way.
Yeah.
You're literally fresh from the plane.
Fresh from the boat,
The plane. New York or West Coast?
New York,
All
yeah.
Right. What were you doing there, Trinny Woodall?
I was growing my business there and looking at contacts I'm growing, being on a show called The Today Show, meeting press, and also maybe having my first store. So exciting things.
How many days were you there for? How many hours were you there for?
I was there for nearly a week, which is a long time for me.
You're rolling now in the kind of sort of with the kind of flavour, the kind of essence that, had it been a few years ago, had Concorde still been flying, you'd be Concording back and forth, because you're in that kind of, that's where you need to be, isn't it? All right, so Trinny London is massive. It's huge. It's only been going since 2017. The BBC are doing many things at the moment, some good, some bad, some right, some wrong. But what the best thing that's come out of the BBC, in my opinion, my humble opinion, and I have some experience with the BBC over the last 2 or 3 years, is this BBC Maestro thing. We've had lots of people on who have their own BBC Maestro lane. The last guy we had on was Brian Cox, the actor. We've had other people on. Now you're part of the gang, the bbcmaestro.com gang. It is brilliant. So it's an online course. It's 60 odd quid if you want to go specific for Trinny or for Brian Cox, or 120 quid for an annual subscription. And it is a world of wonder, wisdom, and other people experiencing things, so you don't have to. And you might listen to them because they're not your mum and dad, basically.
That's such a good way of putting
it. So tell us about your course.
My course is about, originally it was going to be thriving in business. So whether you want to change your job, ask for the right salary, you might not want to be an entrepreneur. So it started quite narrow. And then I said, I can't do that. So I thought, let me just try and keep it to what I know, which is how to pick yourself up from failure, start again. And if you want to go from being in a job to starting something yourself, what are the things you've got to do? Like, how much do you have to save a salary, cut your spending in the first year, so you have a runway to kind of have the freedom without the worry of debt to pursue the idea? What's a proof of concept? How do you market yourself? How do you raise money? How do you wake up in the morning when you feel like, I cannot do this by myself, and think, should I get a partner or am I better going alone?
And so we have 23 lessons, and you came up with the narrative. So you sit down in front of the camera and you deliver these to the camera. You're being interviewed. How's yours working? Because there are different ways of doing this.
There are different ways. So what I did is I spent a day with the team, and they just asked me 101 questions about my attitude to things.
Brilliant.
And then we shot it over 3 days, and I just spoke for 3 days. It was weird, Chris. And when you've spoken after about 2 hours, you think, how much nonsense am I spewing?
And your mouth gets all woolly and
all that stuff. Yeah. But then afterwards, I look back and I think, actually, there's really, there's good things which you hear of, sometimes in interviews, you and I will say stuff, but then it's all condensed, and there's a lot in there that I never chat about in an interview, because I don't ever go into details of growing a business.
Yes, so bbcmaestro.com is where you need to go. Thriving in Business is available. Now, that is what it's called. That's Trinny's. There are loads more there. It's a great thing. It's the BBC at its best. An individual course costs £79, or an annual subscription is 120 quid. Now, last Friday, we had Venus Williams on the show.
Yep.
And Venus Williams has this brilliant new book out called Strive. And it's about her 9 tenets of excellence, of becoming the exemplar that she now is and the world knows and loves her for. And I heard some of those things that she's saying before in other books, but they weren't coming from her. And it was different when they were coming from her.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, I get the same sense, with these lessons, this guidance coming from you because you've been there and you've done it. And a lot of people think, no, get it wrong, maybe right, that you're posh and you've never struggled, but you have struggled. And in 2017, you chanced upon Trinny London. How long had it been in your mind for? How hard was it to get off the ground? Give us some headline struggles and give us a tipping point or two.
Okay, I'm going to first of all define posh is an accent and an education. I actually was cutting meat in a deli at 16 as my Saturday job, and at 18 I went to work.
Right.
So how do you define posh? Did I have a life of luxury? No. From, as soon as I left school, I had to earn a salary.
And you enjoyed
no
work.
Support.
You've always enjoyed work.
I have enjoyed work 70% of the time, and I've detested work 30% of the time. I did not enjoy cutting meat in the deli department at Partridge's in Sloane Street for 2 years at all.
I used to cut the mould off cheese for a supermarket.
Oh, you do? Well, it's like, and if you do it wrong, they dock your wages. They dock, I used to earn 23 quid a day, and sometimes it was £16 a day because I cut it too thick.
But you had a relationship with work and money at a very early age, which is very flipping useful.
Yeah, because it means you sort of see, I graft, and this is what I get for my grafting.
Yeah.
So then there's that element. Sometimes it's literally just to have the money to give you the freedom to get what you want. Right. Other times it's actually, this is making me feel good, and it's a mixture for sure between the two. So for me, this whole growing in my career was probably 2 steps forward, 1 back, because I pursued things I felt I should be doing, or I felt my dad was in finance. I thought, let me try and be in finance. I was terrible at finance. I would go on the tube from on the District Line to Tower Hill, Financial Times on the outside, Daily Mail on the inside, such a fraud from a young age. And it was me and 64 men on a trading floor. That is a job I hated, Chris.
Yeah.
All right. And I did it because I felt I should do it. I was dreadful at it.
When did you sort of wave the white flag of surrender there to yourself and then to the world?
Rehab.
Right.
Yeah, it was like, it builds up and you're just doing all this stuff and you're so far removed from who you think you might be, but you have no idea who you are.
Oh, my gosh.
And you do lots of things to kind of get through that stage.
Right.
And then at 26, I'd had enough. And a lot of friends in my life had passed away through things like that. And I spent a year going to rehab and then going to a halfway house. And when I came out at 27, I thought, now, what do I really want to do?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So first step on that road was?
First step on that road was working for a very, I can only put it this way, vertically challenged man who had a kindercare centres, and I was his secretary.
Right, okay.
And because I was starting at the bottom again.
Did that immediately feel better than before?
I felt for the first 3 months, can I even do this job? Do I know how to put paper into a IBM rollerball typewriter?
Right.
And after 3 months, a really good friend of mine died and I was arranging her funeral and I was really organised doing it. And I thought, actually, Trinny, you got a few more skills than you think you have. And maybe it's time to move on from this delightful man and actually go and do something you want to do.
Oh, right. And so they do say that if you are happy, you're probably doing the right thing. And if you're unhappy, you're probably not. And it's as simple as that.
It's
logic.
When
When did you get happy? When did you first think, now this smells like it's the beginning of the right thing?
When I started doing what I loved to do in my spare time.
Which was?
Which was making over girlfriends in my bathroom and in my bedroom, taking them into my bedroom saying, I bought this suit from Selfridge, but I put nice buttons on it so it looked better. I bought this skincare routine and I put these ingredients together. And the excitement on their face when I could make them feel better.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's the drug I want now.
Isn't it funny? Because, what not to wear was like, is a legend of television. And, if you zoom out now, you think, well, yeah, of course you'd go to hair and makeup next and beauty products. Once you zoom out, you go, if you reverse engineer that master plan, but of course it was never thus.
It was never thus, and things evolve. I never had a 10-year plan. I did it. I loved it. Then, from doing, we didn't do TV first. We did a column in the Telegraph about 7 years. From that, we got a very local show for Granada TV called Girls Who Shop. Hope it's never, ever aired in my life. It was such a dreadful show.
Get it back on now!
Never. Then I did an online business in 99, which was, way before .com, but I loved digital.
Tell us about that.
I wanted to do a portal for women where they could go in and say, this is my body shape and this is how I feel about myself.
Right.
And I'm a size 16, I want a red dress. And we photographed every single item on the high street. Wow. And I raised a lot of money quickly because it was that .com madness. business.
It was crazy. Yeah.
And there was no way after 2
Bricks
years.
and clicks, wasn't it?
Bricks and clicks, that I could make money because e-com wasn't online. So you were always sending people back to the high street.
Right.
So that had to close.
Yeah.
Biggest learning curve in
So
my life,
you
Chris.
were ahead of the technology that you required, and often if that happens, like George Lucas in movies, you then invent the technology you need, but you didn't quite have the means to do that, so you had to wait for the digital world to catch up with
and
your...
if I could be anywhere near George Lucas, that would be amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
but on my small little scale, it felt like that too.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward to 2017, lots of things happen, privately, publicly, whatever. Was it needs must 2017, or was it burning desire, or was it a mixture of both?
Burning desire needs must, because I'd done telly in England for years. We were no longer flavour of the month because, everyone has a life cycle. So we started taking it abroad because we had mortgages, Susanna and I, and kids. And we were both sort of main breadwinners. And we went to 16 countries around the world, leaving London on a Monday, coming back on a Friday, did it for 3 years, killed me. Right. And I thought, actually, this has given me so much information that women around the world are like women in England, that we hit different stages in our life and we think, I wouldn't mind a bit of advice. And I thought, that's when I'm going to do the makeup.
Okay, so what was the first thing you did?
First thing I did is I put all these little concoctions in my bathroom, mix them together, and I tried them on girlfriends. And I thought, what suits people? Because what suits you, Chris, doesn't suit me, because we're different skin, hair, and eye.
Just a bit.
Yeah, just a bit. And that became our technology called Match Me. And then from that, I then started to literally, it's about 6 degrees of separation. I did not know anyone in the makeup business or skincare business. I didn't know anyone in fundraising. So I called one person and I would send emails and try and make it easy for people to pass on my info. So I would say, hi, I'd love help on this. I'm going to give you a little quick paragraph below. If you know anyone who can help me, please forward it on. So I try to make it very easy for someone to help.
Yeah. So you phone bashed, you email bashed, you bashed.
Everything.
And
And
you
it's a
did it
numbers
all
game.
yourself. You did hundreds and hundreds of emails.
I did hundreds.
Thousands? Are we talking thousands?
No, I did 249 emails to get one investor.
Right.
And that was 249 emails. That was 50 meetings, one investor. And then I did probably about 100 emails to get people like, do you know somebody who can make my skincare? Do you know somebody who can help me develop the formula? Do you know somebody who can help me do packaging?
Right.
And then somebody come back with somebody and on it went.
My God, it does sound like a huge mountain, but of course, if you're having fun climbing it, it's okay, isn't it? Were you having fun from the get-go?
I was. There were a lot of challenges. I realised
challenges is fine.
Challenges is fine, but I realised things I'd saved up for, like I'd saved up for this house I'd been obsessed with, and all through when I was doing filming, I was saving money for this house, and I realised I'd have to sell the bloody house if I wanted to get to that next stage. I have to let go of that dream.
Did you?
And I did. I rented it first, tried to cling on, and I thought, no, too much debt.
There's energy in not clinging.
It's exactly right. So I sold the house and rented, and it gave me the freedom to start the business without the huge debt.
That is mega, absolutely mega. So that was 2017. It's only 2024. Tipping points, please.
Tipping points probably are, I started to go global from day one. Right. It's mainly online, so you get to lots of people around the world very quickly. I got 1.3 million people around the world. And tipping points for me were winning best skincare at a big awards thing in America last Christmas, which is Women's Wear Daily, because it was that acknowledgement from a country that wasn't where I was living. Probably the building up of this group of women on Facebook and Instagram called the Trinny Tribe, because they're kind of fantastic women, and I love these women.
So great.
They're champions. We champion each other.
Yeah.
And they're like mates, because I got back from my hotel. I got back from a tech dinner on 2 nights ago, and I was in my hotel room and I thought, I can't call girlfriends to tell them how it went. So I just went live on Facebook and I went, hi guys, let's have a chat.
I bet they loved it.
And there were people in Australia and people in America, and it was like, I was just telling them, this is how it's been, this is what I found tough, this is what's exciting. And that's kind of amazing.
So, what is the number one selling product?
Right now, it's a eye cream called Take Back Time, and I'm selling one every 20 seconds.
Is that your new one?
Yeah, came out last week.
Oh, that's gone straight to the top of the class?
Straight to the top of the chart, because it has a very new ingredient called mini proteins, which really help to soften lines.
Now, you're big on proteins at the moment. I'm
big on proteins.
Your whole new world is proteins, isn't it?
Yes.
So you've dropped sugar. When did you ditch sugar?
I ditched sugar, apart from just now on a jet lag moment, but I generally reduced sugar by about 80% about a year and a half ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And how much sugar we use? What kind of stuff? What was your daily intake like?
Three sugars in my tea, afternoon
really?
snacks, sugary breakfast.
Right.
Yeah, I've been very
Lots of
a
sugar.
sugar person. Yeah.
Okay, lots of fruit as well, or because it's all sugar.
No,
isn't it?
sugar has been sugar.
Sugar.
Refined
okay.
sugar.
Sucrose as opposed to glucose, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're all about the protein.
Yeah.
And you say you look in the mirror, and it's not how you look; it's how you think you feel from how you look.
Kind of.
Is that right?
I don't believe in the concept that you should buy. Well, it's a personal choice, but we don't believe that we want to make you look younger. So the whole thing is, I think women can look in the mirror and they can feel tired.
Yeah.
And if you look in the mirror and feel tired, mentally, you feel tired.
Different story.
And then you have not such a great day. So
Yeah.
I want to do all the things I can do, skincare and makeup, to make you look in the mirror and feel not tired, feel awake. Feel that you've had 4 hours sleep on a plane and actually I'm okay. And therefore you catch sight of that okay image in the mirror and you think, I can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look after yourself, you are loading the base in your favour whilst you're asleep, when you get up. Well begun is half done, well lived, putting yourself in the right place. If you put yourself in the right place, you don't get luckier, but you are more available for those things that are coming by you to pay you a visit, which is really important. But you don't get that unless you are match fit or match aware or match sensitive.
That is a really good way of putting it, Chris.
Do you know
because
what I mean?
things do visit. I had a girlfriend of mine who just called me yesterday and said, I have endometrial cancer, which is a real silent gynecological cancer. Only caught it for some random reason, and things catch you suddenly. And it's exactly what you say. If you can really look after yourself, they might catch you a little bit less badly.
Yeah, or you may notice.
Or you
them,
may,
you may,
because you're in tune with your body.
Yeah, and also, like you talk about your tribe, if you're with the right people who are happy for you because they're happy for themselves, and you can't really be genuinely happy for anybody else unless you're happy for yourself first. Because even if you say you are, and maybe you are, that will turn into resentment. Other people will spot stuff for you as well.
Yeah.
And you can see it in each other. You can feel it in each other. You can feel this is a good vibe we've got going on now.
We
you can
have.
feel it, can't
We always have a good vibe.
But it's great though, isn't
Yeah.
it? You're in a very good place. I'm in a very good place. We're in a good place. The team, Vassos is here. It's all cool. The big guys, the big guns in your business, in the cosmetics business and the well-being business. They see you, they take no prisoners. So even though when you're a small fry, you're not really a threat, but they would still get rid of you if they possibly could. Now that
Chris, I've got to say something different there.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of big players right now who are floundering. They've been the same for a long time.
Yeah.
There's a load of beauty giants, and they've done the same. So in their kind of IPO reportings in the last year, they've gone down. Luxury, which owns a lot of these brands, has gone down a bit. So I feel we're in a time where there's opportunity if you're a small business, because they want to learn where maybe the turnaround of their Titanic ship is so long that they look at challenger brands and they think what's interesting about what they're doing, and they kind of follow it.
Yeah, no, that's I was sort of.
Oh, you were
I was going to say that,
yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah.
But when you come up with this brilliant new eye product, which you're shifting one of every 20 seconds or whatever it is, and it's got this new ingredient, they're thinking, hang on a minute, she is basically still in kindergarten. She's still in the sandpit with her mate. She's only been in this 7 years. We've been in this for like 77 years.
Yeah.
I mean, how come you are discovering these things that they can't? Is it because you are smaller, because you can disrupt, because you can pivot quicker?
I think it's a whole mixture. What happens is we have our own lab. Big giants have their own labs too. Other brands maybe do third party, but we're always looking at new research papers, and we found one about mini proteins, and we thought, let's use it. This is going to work for eye, which I had never believed in before. And we did it, and it was a risk. I did 57 iterations to get there, right? So huge risk, a lot of research, launched it. And then 2 weeks ago, Heidelberg University brought another paper out on it, which, was saying incredible things about the results. And so far, there's no other big brands using it. It's like the beginning of niacinamide, which is a derivative that was owned by Olay. They developed it in their lab. They had it for 10 years, and then everyone could use it. Now, that's exciting. That's really exciting.
Of course it's exciting.
I know people will all jump on the bandwagon now, but to be the first when you're a smaller brand is really exciting.
Okay, and you continue to blaze this trail. You're 7 years in. You're a founder CEO, which is the greatest. I don't know if you've heard the podcast Founders. Have you heard?
Yes, I've been on it.
Have you been on Founders?
Yeah.
You've actually been on it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It can't be the same one because they don't have guests on the one I'm talking about.
Oh,
it's the guy who reads all the books about each.
Oh, well, Founders, Foundrs, is a podcast.
Got it.
Which...
Okay, good. Well, I need to listen to that one. There's another one where this guy just reads all the biographies about one person and then delivers what he's learned in an hour.
It's very good.
And
it's
goes,
like Acquired as well, which is another one like that.
Acquired is an amazing
And Acquired is
podcast.
such a good podcast.
Right, so you will know then.
Yeah.
You will know because you're it anyway, but you will know just from being around these other things that you've read and you've listened to that founder CEOs are awesome. By the way, name them. You got your Zuckerberg, you got your Musk, you got your Jeff Bezos, you got all these loads and loads of different people. But you'll know that when they get to, from their stories, from their history, from things that actually happened IRL, that, 7-8 years in, they get a board and the board go, right, time for the grown-ups now, thank you very much. And they sack the founder.
Yeah.
Often the founder comes back. Steve Jobs came back. Apple had to beg him to come back in the end after he made Pixar and this and the other. Where are you in that world? How does that feel? And also, part two of this question is surely you must be potential prey now to some kind of predatory takeover or buyout.
Okay. Not a takeover because we're not IPO'd or we're not, I think we're too small for takeover concept. I think the thing with boards is keep them small. There's 5 people on my board,
right,
and keep it small. Have friends on your board. Before I go to another round, if I did, I can get 2 more board seats. So that's important. I'm chairman and CEO, so I run the board.
Right.
All right. So my say is
you're
the
okay
final say on
you're
the board.
Safe for now.
For now,
But you know what I
Chris,
mean? It's
I'm
amazing,
safe.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And then it's how you raise money. There's different ways. You can do angel investment. You can do friends and family. There's a few schemes in England like the Entrepreneurial Investment Scheme. Don't know what Keir Starmer's going to do about that in the budget, but these are things that should help. There still are only of all the funding that goes, let's say for £1 of funding, 2p goes to female founders.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really low.
No, it's really low.
Yeah.
And on the Founders podcast, which I love, I think there are 360 episodes. I can't remember a woman.
Yeah, that's pretty
No, it's
bad.
not. I mean, it's
That
not
is
good.
pretty
It's
bad.
got to
Yeah.
change. And you are leading the charge on this.
Well, there's many other brilliant founders.
Yeah, but
who are
you're
women.
leading the charge. You're one of the people
Yeah.
leading. You're one of the women leading the charge.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is going to happen?
I think that if I was 30, I'd think I'm going to build this, sell it, build another one, whatever. I'm not that kind of founder. I want to build something that has a long life, all right? Because there's a lot of brands that built up and sold, and then sometimes private equity gets hold of them, and then they're slightly destroyed because it's not a founder-led brand.
Yeah.
Founders also can drive brands into the ground because they know how to get to a certain level, and the people who take you to one stage maybe aren't the people who can get that brand to the next scale.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know where I stand on that, but for now, I'm CEO. I have got a great team, and it's all about the team. We're at 250
But what
people.
does your gut say?
What have I got to say?
What does your gut say about the future?
My gut says that even if I go at some stage in the future for a good investor to come in, I would still want to be a part of the business in some way because it's my passion and I love it. But also I want to have something, what I call a side hustle, where I'm helping other female founders because there's a lot of work to be done to help other female founders push through and get more women in really good positions doing great businesses.
Could you do? I know you're busy, right? I can tell you're busy. You're just fresh off a plane from New York, like less than 3 hours ago, which is good. Thanks for coming, by the way.
I'm very happy to be here.
Could you not do the Female Founders podcast?
I could so
You'd be
do
young
the
at the
female
time, have you?
founders. I do a podcast at the moment called Fearless,
I know.
and I interview people. I'm doing Judi Dench for. I'm so excited. I can't say she's a female founder, but my God, is she a founder within
she
the
sort of
theatre?
is, in a
So,
way.
and then I'm doing a woman who runs an element of the Secret Service.
Right.
So these to me are inspirational women who have really challenged their industry.
Should we just have a round of applause for that right now? Class behind the glass, live round of applause for that. That was a mic drop moment, but I don't want to drop the mic because I want to carry on talking to her because she's Trinny Woodall. So many the women that work on this floor and around the building are so excited about you. There's just the prospect of you coming in, which is, I mean, that's that must really warm your heart to hear that.
So much.
You know, I mean, I'm not joking. Like, everybody's so excited about you. I'm excited about you coming in anyway. So important. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder where you're going to be. I wonder what you're going to do. And I wonder how it's all going to end up.
A day at a time, Chris.
Day at a time.
Yeah.
It works, doesn't it? Do what's in front of you.
Yeah, do what's in front of you.
What are
But
your
also strategically have a vision of the future. Because if your head is too far down looking,
Or up
you will never actually, you will never actually take yourself out the weeds. There's a balance between taking yourself out of the weeds of day to day and having absolute control over everything.
Yeah.
And as you build a team up, You have to let go and trust.
Yeah.
Oh, so tough for you and I.
Yeah.
And look more to being the person who's guiding the ship and knowing where the shoreline is. So those people who are doing the everyday can trust you that you're going to get them on the journey.
Yeah. Your A's and your B's and your C's, your A employees, your B employees and your C employees. You've got to surround yourself with as many A's as possible, especially on your board, especially close to you. Jim Collins wrote a book. He wrote a book called Built to Last. Have you heard about that book?
Yes.
Have you read that book?
Yes.
Oh my God, what a book. Because you can build to flip or you can build to last. And or actually you can do both, can't you?
Yeah.
You can build. Because when I owned Virgin Radio, I wanted it to last, but it was built to flip. And I didn't know that. Yeah. So I went along and I had some money. It's all in the book anyway. So I had 2 million quid on my own way back in 1996. I think it was. I had 2 million quid in the bank. Loads of money, I know.
Yeah.
But not enough to buy a radio station from Richard Branson. Yeah. So I borrowed 85 million and I bought it from him. A little
bit more.
Yeah, so I borrowed it. So I bought it from him for 87 million. I actually borrowed 20 from him. So he left 20 in the pot and we went again. And I thought I'd bought my radio station for me to work at forever. Yeah. And then about 3 months in, we had a board meeting and they went, so what's the exit strategy? I said, what do you mean? How are we going to get out of the building? The same way as we got in every day. It's on the ground floor. They said, no. Obviously, we're going to sell. I went, what? We've only just bought the damn thing. And anyway, we sold. I think we sold within 3 years because I didn't realise, but we were building to flip. Yeah. I wish we'd have built to last.
It's so challenging because I think you can listen to people like Warren Buffett, all right, who is an incredible entrepreneur, and that is a man who's now 90. And the two businesses he was most proud to invest in are a guy who wanted to start a car leasing company and end up being Enterprise, twice the size of Hertz. But he started with just an idea of let me lease some cars. And a woman who had, I think, a carpet company or something. And she still worked for him until she was 101 years old. And he'd bought her business. And then as soon as she retired, she died the next year.
Yeah. I think that it's funny because we talked about Steve Jobs yesterday. And various other people who talk about product. They just want to make the best product, and if it sells, it sells, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Obviously, there's a bit more to it than that. But and then there's the Jeff Bezos.
Do they? Is that it, or is it about the service you offer a customer?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. But for no, without question, in the end. Yeah. But for Steve Jobs, his priority was it has to be beautiful, and his father always said, because his father used to make. He was a carpenter, and he used to take so long making the back of the wardrobes look beautiful. And he said, and Steve said, a young Steve Jobs said, "But Dad, nobody's ever going to see them." Yeah. He said, "Yeah, but I'll know." And that's why Steve Jobs insisted that his computers look gorgeous if you took the back off them, but nobody ever would. And if you did, also the warranty doesn't last any longer. But it was all about the product for him because you love makeup so much, and if you keep making these amazing products, then you're going to go from strength to strength. I would imagine.
But also what I like about Steve Jobs is for him, if you look at that sort of marketing thing of the golden apple or whatever, whatever it's called, but it's about how do you make somebody's life easier? Because Apple is invented, it's a product, but it's not we're selling you a laptop. It's like we're going to make life easier for you. Yes. And with our business, it's about how can we make it simpler for you and how can we make you feel great about your skin. Yeah. And we happen to be offering you products.
Yeah. And what's interesting about Steve Jobs, because you're absolutely right in what you just said about him, he took that to the high street because all the computer technology places were in industrial retail estates like PC World and stuff like that.
So true.
And he said we need to put them on the high street because we need to have people passing by and we need to make our stores so attractive they just want to come in and have a nose and then we'll sell them our products. Yeah. And so he went against the tide. Everybody else was saying, no, people are prepared. If it's a computer or laptop, it's so important. They'll get in the car and drive to it. He said, yeah, but what if they didn't have to? Yeah. Again, it's taking away the friction, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's challenging the norm.
Challenging the norm. Yeah. Who cares about the norm? You don't get to the top by fitting in.
You so do. Ever dwindling opportunity.
All right. We're out of time. You're probably out of energy, aren't you? You need some sleep. Right, bbcmaestro.com. It's great. It's the BBC at its best. And Trinny's done one. When I say one, it's a whole course. It's 23 lessons. It's 79 quid for her course or 120 quid, which gives you access to all of the BBC Maestro courses. She's great. Did she disappoint? No. Does she now disappoint? I doubt it. Trinny Woodall, everybody. Yeah,
Thank you, Trinny. Thank you, Chris.
You're the best.
You really set me up for a good day.
Sweet dreams, babe.
I've got now 10 minutes.